Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at yet another Android Auto Apple CarPlay device for your motorcycle. I have of course reviewed quite a lot of these in the past, but this one here is definitely aimed at your more sort of budget end of the spectrum. A lot of these other units come with tire pressure monitors, front and rear dash cams, inbuilt GPS, even blind spot radars and stuff. This one doesn't come with any of that stuff. It does have the option to get the front and rear DVR dash cam cameras if you want them, but you can just get it by itself. And it does actually have a BMW style mount, so you don't actually need to buy the bracket if you've got a BMW, I believe. I don't have a Beamer, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, this one here comes with the bracket. It is a quick release bracket as well. It's a fairly small unit. This one we're looking at a 5-inch screen. It has 800 nits of brightness, which isn't quite as bright as some of the other 1000 nit units that I've reviewed in the past, but hopefully it's going to be okay. Of course, it's also IP67 waterproof, and it comes with a free 64 gig SD card at the moment. Getting straight onto the price, this unit as it is here with the bracket and everything you need, just the screen, no extras, you're looking at about 268 Australian dollars. There is also a 15% discount code down in the description. If you're interested in getting this guy, you can save an extra 15%. But yeah, I think that's the pertinent points out of the way. Without any further ado, we'll get straight into having a look at this thing and what it's like. Firstly, I'll just quickly run you guys through exactly what you get in the box. Paper, the MT3 itself. Now the bracket itself does actually incorporate a sun hood over the top here, so if you've seen my previous reviews, you'll know that I like this little sun hood. It does reduce a bit of the glare. We have like a thumb screw on the back here which we can undo, and that will pop straight out, so yeah, just be careful if you're undoing that. That removes the unit from your bike and the bracket stays with the bike. I don't mind this system. It's obviously not secure. Anybody could undo this and take the unit if they wanted to, but that's the beauty of it. You can take it with you if you're worried about it. And it is quite quick, and there's no cables to unplug. It's basically just, yeah, unscrew, out it pops, and off you go. We've also got the SD card and SD card reader as well, USB, so it's quite handy. We have the power cable here. Now this one goes straight to the battery. We don't have any USB power option. And yeah, we do have 3 connections, so you're going to need to use accessory power. You also get what looks like a spare screen protector for it. And of course the mounting bracket. Little rubber spacers for different bar sizes. And there's your basic bracket. So yeah, it's just a bar clamp style. Pretty tidy little unit. Anyway, first things first, we'll get it wired up in here on the bench so I can show you guys basically how it works and everything, and we'll see how fast it is. I'm hoping, even though it's a budget unit, hopefully it's not too laggy. Alright, first things first, we'll install the micro SD card into the unit. So I've removed it from the bracket. We do get a tiny little Phillips head screwdriver here, and there are 3 screws to undo on the side of the unit here. And once that piece is off, we can access the SD card slot, and there's also a USB-C port there as well. So the SD card contacts actually face towards the back of the unit. Putting that little rubber seal back in there. Then we'll just replace those screws and we'll be done. Okay, so we have replaced the little cover now. I'm not actually sure if the SD card will be of much use in this unit without the cameras to record video footage. But anyway, they gave it to us, so we might as well use it. Now we'll go ahead and sort out this bracket. Right, so there's a bunch of tiny screws in this bag with the rubber spacers. Pretty simple setup. We'll just screw the bracket onto here with 4 of these screws. I'll definitely use some kind of thread lock on these. I won't bother right now, this is just a test install. Alright, so there's a ball joint on the back of the bracket there. It's actually quite nice and tight, so hopefully it will hold. It doesn't look like there's any way to actually adjust the torsion on that, but it should be okay. And we can also swivel side to side here. And of course we've got the clamp for the handlebars. Okay, so I have the MT3 connected to my 12-volt power supply here. Go ahead and turn that on. Now we'll time how long it takes to actually boot up once we've got it set up. So you can see here we have a few different settings. We can change the display backlight, screen sleep, screensaver, volume, all that sort of thing. That's where we set the time. Yeah, the interface so far seems really quite responsive. Not entirely sure how we would pair this unit, but I'll go into the Bluetooth settings on my phone. Oh yeah, it's coming up on here without doing anything. So I'll go ahead and pair that. So I think Android Auto should come up automatically, and maybe we have to choose it over here. Just repairing it now because it might have been in CarPlay mode or something before. There we go, Android Auto is now working. There we go, the phone is now connected. We have Android Auto. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. But yeah, that's actually quite smooth. That map scrolling there, I've definitely used more laggy units than this. That's quite good. Looks like we have a movable menu button here. So we can go back to home. And of course we should have split screen functionality. So we've got our music up here on the side. And then we have all our other apps. Guide GPS if that's what you prefer. So yeah, for a budget unit, guys, this is actually quite nice. Yeah, as I said, I've definitely used slower, laggier units than this one. Alright guys, everything seems to be working just fine with the Android Auto side of things. What we'll quickly do is do a startup time test. So I'll power the unit off now. I'll start the timer as soon as I turn on the power. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. So it's up in about 12 seconds, and then it should go into Android Auto. Now a lot of the speed for Android Auto will depend obviously on how quick your phone is to load stuff like that. So it's connecting. There you go, it took about 30 seconds to get into Android Auto, so not too bad. One good thing about using this power station here to power the unit and show you guys, I can actually show you how much power it draws to. So you can see down here, only drawing 5 watts, so that's pretty good. Alright, time for the road test. Alrighty, back at the usual test spot, guys. I'm finding the screen so far, we've got really good bright sunlight today, and that screen is super nice and bright. Quite easily see the Google Maps there. Just wanted to quickly show you guys Stagra, which I reviewed recently, is a mapping app, quite handy for motorcycle riders. I think it's designed pretty much for motorcycle riders. It is now available for Android Auto. When I reviewed it, it was only available for Apple CarPlay, but now we have it on Android Auto as well. It is a paid subscription app, but yeah, it's pretty nice for motorcycle riders. Anyway, we will go back to Google Maps. So I don't have a headset connected, but we'll just try out Google Maps. Get directions to where I used to live. It's not far from here. Seems to be working pretty well. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it does actually have a speaker in it. Obviously it's not very loud, but yeah, there's one in there. So yeah, hopefully you guys can get an idea of how nice and bright that little screen is. It is a small screen, but yeah, obviously on a bike like the 690, it's pretty well sized. Now I do not, well, there are things that I do not like about the mount for this unit, but we'll go into that in the pros and cons. Okay, so we're turning left here. Whoa, we've got a brand new knobby on the back, man. It is sketchy on the road. It's still got the waxy coating on it. Wants to step out on the corners. Alright, here we are, hanging it right here. Anyway, this is just a basic, mostly a demo of, you know, how quick, like how smoothly this thing works, and you can see there it's keeping up just fine. Turn left here. The screen is perfectly bright enough. Even on a bright Queensland spring day like this. Yeah, that's where I used to live in there. But yeah, that's basically all I can show you guys. Like it doesn't have the cameras, although they are, as I said, an optional accessory. It's just a very bare bones navigational unit, you know. Just super simple and super low cost, and it works really well. So it does what it's supposed to do. Alright, back to the Moho for the pros and cons of the Linkifun MT3. Alright, So the pros and cons of the Linkifun MT3, the good stuff and the not so good stuff. Firstly, the good stuff, obviously the price, you know, for a bare bones little unit, if this is all you want, just a navigation screen for your bike, like a lot of that other stuff, the dash cams and that are handy, but they're sort of fluff in a way. Not always necessary depending on what you want. No real lag with it. The operation of it's silky smooth. The startup time's decent. It's waterproof. Seems to be pretty well built. And while there are things that I don't like about this mounting bracket, which I'll get to soon, it is fairly solid. Like it looks really well made. It's obviously aluminium and everything, and it's quite configurable too. Like it's easy to swing it left or right or up and down, whatever, you know, you can move it around. It's quite maneuverable to get it where you want it. And of course, installing this thing overall was super easy. Once you get this on the handlebars, you've just got one cord to hook up, plug this one into the power cable, which is fused and everything, go straight to your battery. You've got a positive and a negative for the battery, and then you've got that accessory power as well. So it's got that always on battery power to keep track of what the time is, and then you've got the accessory connection so that when you turn your key on, obviously it will turn on with that. So yeah, if you're looking for something, you don't want to use your mobile phone on your handlebars, you don't want to buy one of those expensive Garmin's or whatever, then you know this is all you really need. If you are after something with all the bells and whistles, I'll put a link up in the corner somewhere here to another unit I reviewed which has all that stuff. But yeah, now we'll get to the things that I found not so great with this one. And the first little one is, you probably noticed the bezel around the screen is quite large. Like the screen, the actual usable screen, doesn't go right to the edge like a lot of modern sort of screens do. There is quite a large black border around the whole way, so it's not using that whole amount of real estate there. My second small complaint would be that there's no USB power option. That's always handy. I've mentioned that in previous videos, where you can just have a plug that goes in here, and then you've got a USB plug on the other end, so you can just hook this into a USB port and it will automatically come on with the bike, and you don't have to worry about hooking up wires and all that sort of thing. It's much easier. My biggest gripe with the MT3 though is going back to the mount, as I mentioned. Now I know I did say it was well built and, you know, quite easily configurable to however you want it. The first negative I noticed was how difficult it is to get to the screws. So you've got your Allen key bolts in here, but on the other side they've got nuts, like loose nuts that will come out, they will fall out of there. So they haven't actually threaded the metal here. You've got nuts on the other side. They're not lock nuts or anything. So when you're undoing this to mount it to the handlebars, if you drop one of the nuts down into your engine or whatever behind your headlight, yeah, that can be a real bummer. So you've got to be really careful when you're mounting this thing, don't lose the nuts. And yeah, aside from that, it can be really tricky. If you can imagine, I tried to get a little bit of footage of trying to get the Allen key down into here behind the unit. Like, you probably would be better off mounting the bracket to the handlebars and then attaching the rest of this to it afterwards. That may be easier. I didn't do it that way. Probably should have tried. But yeah, I've reviewed a lot of units that have a lot easier mounts, handlebar mounts, than this one. So yeah, once it's on there, it's not going to be a problem. You're probably not going to take the mount off the handlebars very often, so it's not a big deal. Once you've got it on there, it's fine. It's just, yeah, a little bit annoying. Also, the other thing is, I don't know if you'll be able to notice it, but if I hold this part here still, you can see how much play there is in that there. Now I did actually pull this apart right here. You can lever off, get something really thin like a sharp sort of knife, or actually use this really tiny little flat blade screwdriver, lever that that plastic plug out there, and there's like a Phillips head screw behind there, and if you tighten that up, it gets rid of that little bit of play there. I don't know what the issue is. Like, I tightened it right up tight and put some thread lock on it, but it's gone back to this. Now I didn't actually notice it when I was riding the bike. It wasn't like vibrating around or anything, but a little bit of play there. It's yeah, it's not ideal. It's probably fixable if it bothers you like it bothers me. I would probably remove that Phillips head screw in there and put a hex head bolt or something that I could tighten up a bit more, and yeah, it might be a bit better for a bit longer. Anyway, there you have it, guys. That's my review of the Linkifun MT3. As I said, I have reviewed a lot of these so far, and there will be more coming up soon, so keep an eye out for those. If this one doesn't tickle your fancy, but if you do like the look of it, make sure you check out the link in the description. Grab that extra 15% off with my code. I do get a commission if you buy one of these, but I'm just telling you how it is. You know, I'm not here to push sales or tell you rubbish. You know, I told you what I like and what I don't like about it. It's up to you from there to decide whether or not it's right for you. But yeah, thanks to Linkifun for reaching out again and letting me review your product, and thank you guys for watching. As always, stay safe out there guys, we'll see you soon.